Malik was a young electrician known in his town for solving problems that no one else could. People often called him when other technicians failed. He was smart, calm, and quick with his hands. But today, Malik faced a challenge unlike any he had ever seen. The local courthouse had a serious problem. Their computer system controlled all court records, evidence, and video links for trials. Without it, cases could not move forward. Judges, lawyers, and clerks were all panicking. It was the middle of a busy week, and one important trial was scheduled for that morning. A judge named Mrs. Daniels, who was strict but fair, was waiting in the courtroom. The lawyers were pacing nervously, flipping through their notes. The court clerk had tried to restart the system many times, but the screen stayed blank. The security system, the video conferencing, even the microphones were all frozen. The courthouse was essentially shut down. Someone finally remembered Malik. He was not part of the courthouse staff, but his reputation had spread far. They called him immediately. Malik arrived wearing his usual blue overalls, carrying a small black toolbox. He smiled politely at the worried crowd and walked straight to the control room. "Show me the problem," Malik said calmly. The IT officer explained everything. "The system is new. It handles all court data, but this morning, it completely crashed. Nothing works. We tried everything. If this trial does not happen today, the case could be delayed for months." Malik nodded and examined the main control panel. The wires looked ordinary, but the circuit board had some unusual connections. He could see the problem immediately. The system was designed to detect power fluctuations, and one of the safety circuits had shut everything down after a small surge. The computer was fine, but it needed a special reset that only someone who understood both electricity and software could do. "Who installed this system?" Malik asked. "It was a tech company from another city. We were told it was perfect. They sent a manual, but it does not explain this error," said the officer. Malik opened his toolbox and pulled out a multimeter, a screwdriver, and a few small devices he had made himself. He started checking each circuit carefully. His hands moved quickly but with precision. The courtroom outside was silent. Everyone was watching through the glass windows, hoping he could fix it. After a few minutes, Malik spoke. "The main safety relay is locked because the computer thinks there is a dangerous short. I can unlock it, but I need to work directly on the circuits. This is risky if someone touches it while I am working. Only I can do this safely." The judge nodded. "Do what you need to do, Malik. We trust you." Malik worked carefully. He adjusted a few wires, pressed a series of buttons in a precise order, and connected a small device to the control board. He muttered to himself, checking every reading on his meter. Slowly, the screen started to light up. The microphones buzzed back to life. The video feed showed the courtroom camera angles. The system was working again. A cheer erupted from the court staff. Lawyers smiled in relief. The judge looked impressed. "I have never seen anyone fix something like this in minutes," she said. But Malik was not finished. He could see that the system was unstable. If left as it was, it could crash again during the trial. He quickly wrote down some instructions and adjusted a few more circuits. Finally, the system was stable, secure, and ready for the trial. As he stepped out of the control room, one of the lawyers approached him nervously. "That was amazing. How did you know what to do?" Malik shrugged. "I just follow the wires and the signals. If the system talks to you, it tells you the problem." The judge smiled. "Malik, I think you saved more than a trial today. You saved the trust in this entire system. I hope the city knows how valuable you are." Malik smiled politely and packed his tools. He was used to solving problems, but he had never been in a courtroom before. This was different. The people were counting on him, and he had delivered. As he walked out of the courthouse, a lawyer called after him. "Wait. Can you fix other systems too? We have some old court tech that never works right." Malik laughed softly. "One problem at a time. Today, I fixed this one. Tomorrow, who knows?" But as he left, Malik did not notice a small envelope slipped under the courthouse door. It had his name on it. The message inside was short but clear: "Fix this or go to jail." Malik walked slowly down the courthouse steps, feeling the warm sunlight on his face. The cheers of the staff and lawyers still echoed behind him. He was proud of fixing the court system so quickly, but the envelope in his pocket made him uneasy. It had been slipped under the door without anyone seeing. The paper was plain, and his name was written clearly in black ink. He stopped on the sidewalk and opened it carefully. Inside, there was a single note. The words were typed neatly: "Fix this or go to jail." There was no signature, no explanation, nothing else. Malik frowned. Who would send this, he muttered to himself. He looked around. The street was quiet. People were walking by, going about their day. Nothing seemed unusual. But Malik felt a small knot of worry in his stomach. He was used to solving technical problems, not dealing with threats. He took out his phone and called his friend, Lena. She worked in a nearby library and was excellent at research and finding information. Malik trusted her because she always gave honest advice. "Lena, I need your help," Malik said as soon as she answered. "I just got a note. It says fix this or go to jail. I have no idea what it is about." Lena paused. "That sounds serious. Are you okay? Where are you now?" "I'm near the courthouse. I think someone wants me to solve a problem, but they did not explain what it is. I need to figure out who sent this before it becomes dangerous." "I'll meet you in 10 minutes, Lena said. "Bring the envelope." Malik hung up and walked slowly to a nearby cafe to wait. His mind was racing. The courthouse problem had been real, but this new message felt like something different. Someone was watching him. Someone wanted him to act under pressure. When Lena arrived, she gave him a reassuring smile. "Let's see what we can find." Malik handed her the envelope. Lena examined it carefully. She looked at the paper, the font, and even the type of printer used. "This looks like a common office printer," she said. "It could have come from anywhere. But the message is clear. Whoever sent it wants you to fix something, and they are serious about it." Malik nodded. "I thought the courthouse problem was hard, but this. I do not know what it is yet." Lena thought for a moment. "Do you have any enemies? People who might want to threaten you?" Malik shook his head. "No, I only work on electrical problems. People sometimes call me for difficult jobs, but nobody has ever threatened me before. This is different." Lena tapped her fingers on the table. "Maybe it is not about a person. Maybe it is about a system or a machine. Someone wants you to fix something before it causes trouble." Malik looked at her. "You might be right. But how will I know what it is? The note does not say anything." "Sometimes you start with small clues," Lena said. "Look around. Check your messages, your emails, or any recent calls about technical problems. There must be something connected." Malik nodded. He pulled out his phone and started checking. At first, nothing seemed unusual. Then, he noticed an email from the city's technology office. The subject line read, "Urgent, immediate action required." He opened it carefully. The email said that a critical system in the city's water plant had stopped working. If it was not fixed immediately, the plant could shut down, affecting thousands of people. The email ended with a strange line, "Malik, we trust you. Fix this or face the consequences." Malik's stomach tightened. The note at the courthouse and this email were connected. Someone was depending on him to solve a problem he did not know about in advance. This was not a simple electrical repair, it was a high-stakes challenge that affected the city itself. Lena leaned over his shoulder. "This is serious, Malik. If the system fails, a lot of people could be in trouble. And the sender of the note wants to make sure you take it seriously. You need to act fast." Malik took a deep breath. "I will go. I need to see the problem myself. If I can fix it, no one gets hurt. But I need to understand the system first." He packed his tools carefully. Screwdrivers, meters, small devices, and a few gadgets he had made himself were ready. Lena offered to go with him, but Malik shook his head. "I work faster alone. You stay here and help me find any information if I need it." Lena nodded. "Be careful. Remember, think before you act. You are very good at solving problems, Malik. Trust yourself." Malik walked to his car, the envelope still in his pocket. His mind was focused. The courthouse challenge had been the warm-up. This was the real test. Whoever sent the note had a reason to trust him. They believed he could solve impossible problems. As he started the car and drove toward the water plant, Malik's thoughts were clear. He would fix the system. He would find the cause of the problem. And he would not let anyone down. The city depended on him, and he was ready for the challenge. But deep down, Malik knew this would be different from any repair he had done before. The stakes were higher, and the consequences could be serious. The mysterious sender had started the game, and now Malik had to play. Malik arrived at the city water plant just as the sun was rising. The tall buildings and large tanks reflected the early light. Workers were standing outside, looking worried. Some were talking on their phones, others were trying to check the machines, but nothing worked. The entire facility seemed frozen in a state of panic. A supervisor named Mr. Harris met Malik at the entrance. "Thank you for coming," he said quickly. "The main control system crashed last night. We cannot operate the pumps, filters, or valves. If it stays down for much longer, we could have serious problems with water supply." Malik nodded and followed him inside. The control room was large, filled with computers, screens, and buttons. Red warning lights blinked constantly, showing errors. Malik examined the system carefully. He could see that it was a complex network of circuits, computers, and sensors. Everything depended on perfect timing and coordination. "Show me what happened," Malik said. Mr. Harris explained that there had been a small power surge late at night. The system's backup generators activated, but the control software did not restart correctly. Some parts of the plant were receiving signals, others were not. Nobody could figure out why the system refused to reset. Malik opened his toolbox and began checking the main control board. He carefully measured voltages, tested relays, and observed the signals from the sensors. His hands moved quickly, but every movement was precise. The plant workers watched silently. They had never seen someone so confident with complicated equipment. After a few minutes, Malik spoke. "The software is fine, but one of the safety relays is stuck. It prevents the main system from starting. If I can manually reset it, the control system will come back online. But I need to access the central relay cabinet. It is deep inside the plant." Mr. Harris nodded. "I will take you there. It is not far, but it is locked and protected. Only authorized personnel can enter." Malik followed him through a series of narrow corridors and heavy doors. The relay cabinet was large, with dozens of switches, wires, and small devices. Malik carefully studied the arrangement. It was complicated, but he could see the problem clearly. One relay had failed to respond to the control commands. It was like a single key missing from a large puzzle. He connected his portable testing device and checked the circuits. The readings confirmed his suspicion: a small electrical fault had caused the relay to lock. He carefully adjusted the connections and slowly restarted the system. The red warning lights began to turn off, one by one. The computer screens lit up with normal operations. Pumps, filters, and valves started running again. The workers cheered quietly. Malik was not done yet. He knew that the system could fail again if the underlying problem was not fixed. He examined the wiring, replaced a few faulty connectors, and adjusted the timing of the sensors. Finally, he tested the system several times. Each time, it worked perfectly. Mr. Harris looked relieved. "I cannot believe this. We called 3 different technicians, and nobody could fix it? You solved it in less than an hour." Malik smiled slightly. The system was not broken. It just needed the right sequence of adjustments. Machines can be stubborn, but they talk if you know how to listen. As he packed his tools, Malik remembered the note: "Fix this or go to jail." It was clear that whoever sent it knew about the water plant problem. But why did they choose him? He did not know yet. Suddenly, a security guard approached him. "Malik, there is someone here asking to speak with you. They say it is important and urgent." Malik followed the guard to a small office. Inside, a man in a dark suit was waiting. He introduced himself as Mr. Collins. "Malik, thank you for coming so quickly. You have proven you are capable of solving very difficult problems. That is why I called you." Malik raised an eyebrow. "Who are you, and why send a note saying I would go to jail?" Mr. Collins smiled. "That was to get your attention. The city is facing technical problems that could be dangerous if left unattended. You have the skill to prevent these problems. We need you to act quickly, but we could not risk waiting. The note was meant to motivate you." Malik nodded slowly. He could understand the urgency, but he still felt uneasy. This was no longer about fixing a single machine. Someone was watching him and counting on him for much bigger tasks. "I fixed the plant," Malik said. "What is next?" Mr. Collins looked serious. "There are more systems, each more complex than the last. Traffic lights, power grids, communication networks. If any of them fail, it could cause chaos. We need you to help." Malik thought for a moment. He had always solved problems one at a time, but now the challenge was bigger than anything he had faced before. He realized this was not just about technical skills, it was about responsibility, courage, and quick thinking. "I will do it," Malik said finally. "But I need clear instructions and access to the systems. I cannot fix things if I do not know the problem in advance." Mr. Collins nodded. "You will get all the information. But remember, time is critical. Each system has a limited window before failure." Malik packed his tools again, ready for the next challenge. The water plant was safe, but the city still depended on him. He knew the road ahead would be full of obstacles. Whoever had sent the mysterious note had started a chain of challenges, and Malik was determined to face every one of them. Malik left the water plant feeling the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. The city depended on him, and he could sense that the challenges were only beginning. Mr. Collins had said there were more systems at risk, each one more complex than the last. Malik had solved electrical problems before, but this was different. This was about keeping a city running smoothly. His next assignment arrived quickly. A city official called him on his phone. "Malik, we have a problem with the traffic control system. All traffic lights downtown have stopped working. We need you there immediately before accidents happen." Malik nodded. He grabbed his toolbox and drove to the downtown control center. The streets were chaotic. Cars were stopped in the middle of intersections, horns blared, and people shouted directions to each other. The usual rhythm of the city was gone. He could see the urgency in every face. When he arrived at the control center, a technician named Maria greeted him. "Malik, thank goodness you are here. The system went offline early this morning. We tried rebooting the servers, but nothing happened. All lights are stuck on red or flashing, and the main controller is not responding." Malik looked at the bank of computers and monitors. The control system was huge, with dozens of screens showing live feeds from traffic cameras. He could see the problem immediately: the central processor had locked itself to prevent a possible overload. This safety feature was necessary, but it had stopped the entire network. "Show me the main controller," Malik said. Maria led him to a secure room with a large console full of switches, wires, and circuits. Malik examined it carefully. He tested each connection, checked the power supply, and studied the error signals. The system was clever, designed to detect even small anomalies, but this meant that any minor issue could cause a complete shutdown. After a few minutes, Malik spoke. "The processor is fine, but one of the communication modules is frozen. It cannot send signals to the lights. I need to manually reset the module and recalibrate the network." Maria looked worried. "Is it dangerous? If it fails, the traffic downtown could be worse than before." Malik nodded. "I understand the risk. I will work carefully and step by step. Machines like this can be fixed if you follow the signals." He opened his toolbox and took out a small device he had built himself. It could simulate the signals from the main processor and test each module individually. Malik connected it to the frozen module and began running tests. He observed each response, adjusted the circuits, and replaced a faulty connector. Slowly, the screens began to show normal activity. Back on the street, drivers noticed the traffic lights changing from flashing to normal. Cars moved in order again. People sighed in relief. Malik continued to monitor the system, ensuring that every intersection was synchronized. Finally, the lights were fully operational. The streets returned to their usual rhythm, and the downtown chaos ended. Maria smiled. "I cannot believe it. We called so many engineers, and nobody could fix it. You solved it in minutes." Malik smiled slightly. The system was not broken. It just needed a careful reset and proper calibration. Machines do what they are told, but only if the instructions are correct. As he packed his tools, Malik noticed another envelope on his desk. He opened it carefully. Inside was a note, similar to the one he had received at the courthouse. "Next challenge, city communications. Time is critical. Fix this or face consequences." Malik frowned. The sender of the notes was clearly guiding him from one problem to the next. This was no ordinary repair work. Someone had chosen him to protect the city from systems failures that nobody else could handle. Maria watched him closely. "Malik, are you going to take this next challenge too?" He nodded. "Yes. If the city depends on me, I cannot refuse. But I need more information before I start. I need to understand the system completely." Maria handed him a folder with diagrams, manuals, and notes about the city's communication network. Malik studied it carefully. It was a complicated system connecting emergency services, city offices, and public alerts. If it failed, the city could not send important messages, and people might be in danger. Malik felt the pressure, but he also felt a sense of purpose. Each challenge was more difficult than the last, but he had the skill and the determination to succeed. Whoever had sent the notes had chosen him for a reason. They believed he could solve impossible problems. He packed his tools, studied the diagrams once more, and prepared to leave for the communications center. Malik knew that this next system would test him in new ways. The traffic lights had been a challenge, but citywide communications would require both technical skill and quick thinking. As he walked toward his car, Malik felt a small spark of excitement. Each problem brought risk, but it also brought the opportunity to make a difference. The city depended on him, and he would not let anyone down. The mysterious sender had set the rules. Malik had no choice but to follow the path laid before him. He was ready for the next challenge, determined to fix the city's systems and uncover the truth behind the messages. Malik arrived at the city communications center late in the morning. The building was large, filled with antennas, servers, and countless wires running in every direction. Screens lined the walls, displaying city maps, emergency alerts, and live feeds from various locations. Malik could feel the weight of responsibility in the room. If this system failed, the entire city could lose contact with emergency services, hospitals, and public safety networks. A technician named Omar greeted him nervously. "Malik, thank you for coming. The main network crashed last night. We cannot send alerts, communicate between departments, or monitor emergencies. Everything stopped. We tried rebooting the servers, but the system won't respond." Malik nodded and walked to the central console. He examined the hardware and software carefully. The system was more complex than any he had seen before. Multiple servers communicated with each other, and the software controlled both city alerts and emergency channels. A single error in one module could stop the entire network. "Show me the main server room," Malik said. Omar led him through narrow corridors to a secure area filled with racks of servers. Cooling fans hummed loudly. Malik opened his toolbox and took out his diagnostic devices. He began checking each server, observing the signals, and testing the connections. One server, in particular, caught his attention. Its lights were dim, and the error readings were unusual. "This server is frozen," Malik said. "It controls the routing of messages. If I can bring it back online, the rest of the network will follow. But I need to access the backup controls as well, or it might crash again." Omar looked worried. "Are you sure it can be fixed? We cannot risk losing the network completely." Malik nodded. "I have to try. Step by step, carefully. I can handle this." He connected his testing device to the frozen server and started running diagnostics. The device simulated network traffic, checking every connection. Malik observed the readings closely. One of the internal circuits had failed, blocking communication signals. He carefully replaced a faulty connector, adjusted the timing of the signals, and reset the software manually. Slowly, the server lights began to stabilize. Back in the control room, the screens began to show activity again. Alerts started moving through the network. Messages were delivered to emergency services. Phones and radios began working normally. The city communications system was coming back online. The technicians breathed a sigh of relief. "It's working," Omar said. "We thought it was impossible to fix." Malik smiled slightly. The system was not broken. It just needed the right adjustments and careful attention. Machines do what they are told, but only if the instructions are correct. He continued to monitor the network for several more minutes, making sure all servers were synchronized and that every channel worked properly. Finally, he tested a few emergency alerts and confirmed that the system was fully operational. As he packed his tools, Malik noticed another envelope on the desk. It looked familiar. He opened it carefully. Inside was a note: "Final challenge, city power grid. The city depends on you. Fix this or face consequences." Malik frowned. The sender of the notes had been guiding him through each system, and now the challenge was the city's entire power grid. This was the biggest task yet. Any mistake could affect thousands of people. Omar looked at him nervously. "Malik, are you going to take it? The power grid is more complicated than anything we have seen." Malik nodded. "Yes. If the city depends on me, I cannot refuse. I need to rest briefly, review the diagrams, and prepare my tools. Then I will head to the main power control center. He studied the diagrams of the city's electrical grid. Transformers, substations, circuits, and emergency backups were all connected in a vast network. Malik could see the challenges ahead. A small error could lead to blackouts, damaged equipment, or worse. But Malik also felt confident. He had solved impossible problems before. The courthouse, the water plant, the traffic system, and the communications network had all tested his skill, patience, and intelligence. Now the power grid would test him like never before. He packed his tools carefully, double-checking each device. Every screwdriver, meter, and diagnostic device was ready. Malik took a deep breath and focused his mind. The city depended on him, and he was ready. The mysterious sender had set the path. Malik had followed it from one challenge to the next. Each problem had taught him more about the city's systems and more about his own abilities. Now the final test awaited. He knew the power grid would require all his knowledge, skill, and careful thinking. As Malik walked toward his car, he felt a sense of determination. The city depended on him, and he would not let anyone down. Whoever had sent the notes had trusted him, and he intended to prove that their trust was well placed. Malik started the car, ready to face the most difficult challenge of his life. The city's power grid was waiting, and he was ready to solve the impossible problem that could save thousands of people. Malik arrived at the city's main power control center. The building was massive, filled with computers, switches, and screens that monitored every substation in the city. The hum of electricity was constant, and red warning lights blinked on several panels. The atmosphere was tense. Engineers and technicians were gathered, looking worried. The city had already experienced small power fluctuations, and a full blackout could happen at any moment. A supervisor named Mr. Bennett met Malik at the entrance. "Malik, thank you for coming so quickly. The main grid is unstable. Some substations are offline, and others are overloading. If we cannot fix this soon, large areas of the city could lose power." Malik nodded and followed him into the control room. Screens showed maps of the city with flashing icons for every substation. Each red icon meant a problem that needed immediate attention. Malik studied the display carefully. He could see the patterns of the overloads and identify the weak points. "Show me the primary control panel," Malik said. Mr. Bennett led him to a large console in the center of the room. Wires and circuits were neatly arranged, but some were glowing slightly, indicating high current. The main software had locked itself in safety mode to prevent damage, but this had caused further instability. Malik unpacked his toolbox and took out his diagnostic devices. He tested each section of the grid, watching the readings carefully. One by one, he found faulty relays, unstable circuits, and misaligned connections. Each small problem was adding to the larger failure. "This is more complicated than anything I have faced so far," Malik said. "The main processor is fine, but multiple substations are sending conflicting signals. I need to manually adjust them and reset the safety protocols. If I do this carefully, the grid will stabilize." Mr. Bennett looked anxious. "Be careful, Malik. If one mistake is made, a blackout could spread across the city." Malik nodded. "I understand. I will take it step by step." He started with the closest substation. Using his devices, he measured voltage, current, and load. He replaced a faulty connector, realigned circuits, and adjusted the timing of the relay. Slowly, the substation stabilized, and its icon on the screen turned green. Next, he moved to a substation that was overloaded. He rerouted some circuits, balanced the load, and carefully restarted the safety protocol. The warning light turned off. One by one, Malik worked through the most critical points. His hands moved quickly, but every step was precise. The technicians watched silently, impressed by his skill and focus. Hours passed, But Malik did not stop. He monitored every change, ensured each relay and circuit was properly synchronized, and adjusted the network to prevent future failures. Finally, the entire city grid stabilized. The red warning lights disappeared from the screens, replaced by green icons. Mr. Bennett let out a deep sigh of relief. "I cannot believe it. We have called many experts, but no one could fix the grid. You solved it completely." Malik smiled slightly. The system was not broken. It needed careful adjustment, proper timing, and step-by-step attention. Machines respond when they are treated correctly. The technicians began testing all parts of the city's network. Lights, public buildings, hospitals, and offices all reported normal power. The city was safe again. As Malik packed his tools, he remembered the mysterious notes. Whoever had sent them had guided him through increasingly difficult challenges. Each system had tested his skill and patience. Now the final challenge, the power grid, was complete. Just then, Mr. Collins appeared at the door. "Malik, I have been watching your progress. You have proven yourself beyond doubt. You solved problems that no one else could. The city owes you a great debt." Malik looked at him. "I only did what needed to be done. The city depends on its systems, and someone had to make sure they worked." Mr. Collins smiled. "You went above and beyond. Your skill, courage, and calm thinking under pressure saved the city. The challenges were designed to find someone who could handle emergencies that others could not. You are that person." Malik felt a sense of pride, but also humility. He had faced impossible problems, and each one had tested his limits. But he had learned that patience, careful observation, and understanding the systems were more important than speed or force. "You have earned the city's trust," Mr. Collins said. "And from now on, we want you to be our lead technical advisor for critical systems. We cannot promise the challenges will stop, but you will have the support you need." Malik nodded. He had solved the impossible problems, protected the city, and proved his abilities. For the first time, he felt that his skills could be used for something bigger than just fixing machines. He could make a real difference in people's lives. As he left the control center, Malik looked at the city skyline. The lights were steady, the hum of electricity smooth, and the streets alive with activity. He knew challenges would come again, but he was ready. He had faced the impossible and won. After leaving the power control center, Malik felt a sense of relief. The city's most critical systems, the courthouse, the water plant, traffic lights, communications network, and the power grid, were all stable and safe. Yet, the mysterious notes still lingered in his mind. Who had sent them? Why had someone chosen him to handle these impossible challenges? Malik returned to his small workshop in the city. His tools were neatly arranged, and the envelopes were stacked on his desk. He examined the last note again. It was clear, simple, and direct: "Final challenge complete. Your skill is recognized." There was no signature, no hint of identity. He decided it was time to uncover the truth. Malik began reviewing all the details of the challenges. He remembered the patterns: each problem was increasing in complexity, each note timed perfectly, and each system targeted in a logical sequence. Whoever had planned this knew not only the city's infrastructure but also his abilities. Malik checked his messages again. One email stood out, the one from the city technology office that had directed him to the water plant. He traced the email's metadata carefully, following the routing path through the city's servers. Step by step, he found the source. The message came from the office of the city mayor. Malik's eyes widened. The mayor? Could it really be that the city's highest office had been orchestrating these tests? He knew he had to meet the person directly to confirm. He called the mayor's office and requested an appointment. A few hours later, Malik was led into a large office. The mayor, a calm and thoughtful woman named Mayor Reynolds, greeted him. "Malik, Thank you for coming. I hope you have had a chance to review the challenges. Malik nodded. I did. I traced the notes and the emails. It seems they all came from your office. Were you behind all of this? Mayor Reynolds smiled. Yes, Malik. You are correct. But let me explain. Our city's systems had grown very complex, and many of them were at risk of failure. We needed someone capable, someone who could remain calm under pressure and solve problems that others could not. You were the only person we trusted for this. The notes were designed to test and guide you. It was never meant as a threat. Malik considered her words. So, this was a test of my skills and my ability to handle responsibility. Exactly, the mayor said. We needed to know if you could handle emergencies that might affect thousands of people. Each challenge was chosen carefully, and we monitored your work to ensure the city remained safe. You proved yourself beyond any doubt. Malik felt a mix of surprise and pride. He had thought the notes were mysterious or even threatening, but they had been a way to find the right person for an important role. He realized the trust placed in him was not only about technical skill but also about judgment, patience, and courage. You have saved the city, Malik, Mayor Reynolds continued. We want you to continue helping us with critical systems. We cannot predict what might fail next, but with your abilities, we can be confident that the city will remain secure. This is more than a job, it is a responsibility that only a few can handle. Malik nodded. He understood now that his journey was not just about solving electrical or technical problems. It was about protecting people, maintaining order, and making decisions that affected the entire city. He had learned more about himself in these weeks than in all his years of work. I accept, Malik said. I will help keep the city's systems safe. And I will continue to use my skills carefully, step by step, to ensure everything works properly. Mayor Reynolds smiled warmly. I knew you would. Your calm thinking and determination make you perfect for this role. The city is fortunate to have someone like you. Malik left the mayor's office feeling a sense of accomplishment. The challenges had tested him in every way: technical skill, patience, judgment, and courage. He had faced impossible problems and succeeded. The mysterious sender had been revealed, and the purpose behind the tests was clear. That evening, Malik returned home and looked out over the city skyline. The lights shone steadily, the streets moved smoothly, and the systems hummed quietly in the background. For the first time, Malik allowed himself to relax. He had faced the impossible and come out stronger. He knew more challenges would come, but he was ready. The city had entrusted him with its most critical systems, and he would continue to meet each challenge with calm, intelligence, and skill. Malik understood now that his work was more than just fixing machines. It was about protecting a city and its people. The envelopes, the messages, and the tests had all led him to this moment. Malik smiled to himself. He had solved the impossible, uncovered the truth, and proven that one determined person could make a real difference. The city slept peacefully that night, unaware of how close it had come to disaster, and Malik knew that he would always be ready when the next challenge appeared.